If you found yourself needing to have a little bit more control over your AI images, don't worry, you're not alone. Now, up until this point, we've only really had one major control net released for Flux, initially released by X Labs. Shaker, however, in combination with InstantX, have gone ahead and released a new control net model. And the best part about this one is it's a complete control net model, meaning you've got everything including openpose, Canny, depth, tiled, which is much more than what we had from X Labs. On top of that, it's all encased in one single model, making installation an absolute breeze. So without further ado, let's just dive right in and go straight into it. So as usual, you'll see links all in the description down below. And if we come over here to Hugging Face, we can see on the Shaker Labs page, they've released Flux 1 Dev ControlNet Union Pro. It's not a mouthful. And of course, they've got over here the showcases, which shows us Canny, openpose, depth, as well as the other ControlNet methods. Now, installation is very easy and straightforward. Head over into Files and Versions, and you're going to want to go ahead and download this model into your ControlNet folder. Now, for organizational purposes, I have made a Flux folder where I put all of the Flux control nets. And you can see here on my RunPod instance, I have the folder structure, and it doesn't matter if you're using Linux or Windows, the folder structure is going to be exactly the same for you in Comfy UI. So go ahead and open your Comfy UI folder, head down here to Models, ControlNet, and create the folder Flux. And again, this step is optional. You can do it if you want. I've done it because it makes my life a lot easier. And then inside Flux, you can download the model. Another quick pro tip, the model is named Diffusion PyTorch model, which is absolutely the most annoying thing ever if you've got a whole bunch of models and you're trying to remember what is what. So I've also gone ahead and renamed it here to ControlNet_Union Safe Tensors. Again, you don't have to do this, but in the long run, if you mess around a lot with Comfy UI, this will make your life so much easier. Once you've done that, head on over into Comfy UI and load up your standard Flux workflow. Now, there's one important thing to mention here. If you're running on a 24 gigabyte GPU, whether that's 3090 or a 4090, you are not going to have enough VRAM. I was not able to run this on a 3090 or a 4090 with the standard dev Flux model, in addition to the ControlNet model. I kept getting out of memory issues. In that case, you're going to want to get a quantized version of Flux. And I've got the link in the description down below. The two best options available are the Quantized Q8 or the NF model. Now, based on what I've seen online, the Q8 is better, and I will do a separate video on that. You can go ahead and download it with the link I've provided down below. Put that in your UNet folder, just like you did with the original Flux. And what that will do is it will allow you to use the dev version of Flux with half the required VRAM, meaning you only need 12 gigs of VRAM, leaving lots of ample room for ControlNet to work. However, if you're lucky enough to have a 30 or 40 gigabyte plus GPU, this is not going to be a problem for you. So once you've downloaded the quantized model, make sure that you go into your custom nodes manager and download Comfy UI GGUF, and that will allow you to load the quantized model. Once you've done that, go ahead and load up the unit loader GGUF. So you can do that by typing in GGUF and look for unit loader, and you'll see the model here, and simply swap out your load diffusion model with the unit one. That's it. Everything else remains the same. Now, if we head down here to the end of the sequence, everything else is the same, so we'll just run through the items one by one, and I will have a more organized version of this available to everyone and a more extensive version for my patrons. I'll get into that a bit later. So we've got the model loader up here, your clip loader over here. In this case, I'm using the FP8, your V loader, your prompts. Down here, we have all of our Flux settings where we've got the latent image, our width, our height, random noise, K-sampler selector, scheduler, and the Flux sampler. That feeds into the basic guider, and of course the guider feeds into the sampler custom advanced. Now, the place where we're adding the control net is just before the Flux guidance. So we see here, Flux guidance feeds into the basic guider, which feeds into the sampler custom advanced. And from Flux guidance, we have this conditioning that comes here to this ControlNet apply SD3 and Hunyuan DIT. This should be default in Comfy UI if you've updated it. If not, try updating your Comfy UI, refresh, and try and find it. And of course, feeding into this, we have our positive and negative prompts feeding in here. our VA as well. And then we've got the ControlNet node in here and the sample image. Connected to the ControlNet point, we've got set Union Controlnet type. This is where we set what type of ControlNet we're using. And then, of course, the model is loaded over here. And that's pretty much it. Once you've got this set up, the only thing you need to do is change what comes into the image based on whether it's a Canny, openpose, depth, set the ControlNet type, and then we've got a whole bunch of preprocessors here. So the version is going to be available for free for everyone. Will not have the preprocessor set up. You'll just have the image here. If you want to have a preprocessor group for each type, that's available on the Patreon. So now that we've got that set up, let's go ahead and try it out. So we've got here this image loaded up with this meditation image. Let's go ahead and feed it in without any preprocessor. So in this case, it's an openpose. I'm going to set my ControlNet type to openpose. Although you can also set it to auto or normal. Normal seems to work with everything, and auto will try and choose the right one or the best one. But in this case, we're just going to set it manually to openpose. Now, what to prompt? This is where the sponsor of this video comes in incredibly handy. Our sponsor is Prom, the creators of this absolutely fantastic prompt database. I use it all the time to help me get started quickly with projects. I just go through the image database and find an image that I think is going to act as a fantastic starting point. In this case, let's grab this one over here with the fantasy character. And then they've got over here the prompt that I can grab and edit. And then they've got underneath it a whole bunch of additional parameters that make it easy to find similar prompts or understand what are the components of a prompt so that you can try and create your own. In this case, we've got a wizard style art style and a few descriptors here that will help. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, drop it in here to my prompt, and we're going to make a few adjustments. So I like all of this: fantasy character, girl with freckles, blue hair, long ears, and so on and so forth. We're just going to add in here meditating in a street with a town square in the background. And let's go ahead and generate. And there you have it. We have all the main components of our image description: fantasy character, girl with freckles and blue hair, long ears and horns, and she's sitting here meditating, not too differently from our openpose image. Now, this one did come out significantly better than I expected because I have a portrait aspect ratio, whereas the original ControlNet image is horizontal. This sometimes works. A lot of the times it does not. So if you find you're having an issue with your ControlNet and your aspect ratio is drastically different, that could be one of the reasons. I will try and include a cropping node in here so that you can try and customize the crop of your ControlNet to match more closely with your base image. And that will be available in the Patreon version of the workflow. Now, there's a few things to note when using ControlNet that can affect the quality of your image quite significantly. As you can see here, we've got a couple of issues with the hands, something that is not very common with Flux. The reason why that could be happening is here in the main ControlNet apply node. There are three parameters here that affect the quality of the image quite significantly. The first being the strength. This is fairly straightforward. This is how intensely is the ControlNet applied to your image. Start percent is at what point in the image generation process is the ControlNet applied, and end percent is at what point does the model stop trying to force the ControlNet. Typically, you want your strength and end percent to be anywhere between 0.6 and 0.8. However, the more aggressively you apply the ControlNet, the less room Flux has to work with. So in this case, we did get the ControlNet applied quite well. However, there wasn't enough room left for Flux to try and fix the issues like the hand. So we're going to try and redo this image, and we're going to drop the end percent down to 50. And hopefully this will still give us the pose while allowing me to illustrate my point. Okay, we can see here the image was still quite successful, and if anything, I would say it's considerably better. And a big part of that is because we gave Flux a little bit more time to work. The hands are still not quite at the level that we're used to with Flux, but generally I do see that the image has a lot more detail, has a lot more things going on, and that's just because we've given Flux a little bit more time to cook. We're just going to try one more and dropping the end percent down to, let's say, 35. And see if we're still able to get the ControlNet applied into all of this. Now, while this is generating, I will explain, as we're experimenting now, you typically want to try and find the point where you can get away with the lowest strength and end percent in your control net while getting the results that you want. That will ensure that you are able to give the guidance that you need to Flux while getting the best image quality possible. Okay, and this image is a fantastic opportunity for me to throw everything that I've just said out the window, because even though we lowered the N% quite substantially, we've somehow ended up with a worse image. So we're going to try it one more time, and if it still doesn't work, I'm just going to tell you it absolutely followed everything that I said when I was testing it off camera, and it's just my luck that this would happen. Okay, so once again, we are getting images with a lot more detail, but no matter what I do, I just can't seem to get the hands fixed. I will throw up here on the screen the images I generated earlier, where you can see the hands are in fact not as gnarly as they are right now. I will make one change, and we will try the normal version instead of the openpose under the type, just to see if there is a difference. Oh, there we go. So this is probably why it was working earlier. And this is a good reason to try out different set union types if you're not getting a good result as well. We still have that meditation pose. We have now the phenomenal quality of reducing our N%, and we've got the hands back. So this is what I did earlier. I had done it in the normal type, and I was able to get the hands working successfully. So that's openpose. Now let's go ahead and try out some of the other control nets. While openpose might be useful, if you don't mind the image adhering a little bit more strongly to the source image, that's when ControlNet and even depth can produce even better images, as you'll see right now. So we're going to go ahead and try out the Canny one. If you have an image that you'd like to pull out a pose from, I've set up a openpose preprocessor here. You upload your image and it will extract the pose and feed that in to this little node over here. And then this little node over here will be connected up to the primary control net node, making it really easy for you to switch whichever preprocessor you want. Okay, so let's try out the Canny. So right now I have it disabled so it doesn't use up resources. If you want to go ahead and use it, as I said, connect it from the Canny node over here. Remember, use the Canny, not the preview image. Then click on the group and set group nodes to always. That will activate the nodes. And then go ahead and before we cue the prompt, let's just remove the meditation pose from the original prompt. Okay, we're just going to put here standing in the street and go ahead and generate. And there you have it. In this case, I forgot to change the N% and we left the type to normal. So we still got quite a bit of variance from the original image. If you see here, let's pull it out. We still have most of the components of the pose. The only difference here is she's got her arms crossed instead of it one up on the face, but the hair is longer, the outfit is completely different, and so I'm just doing this to illustrate to you that you don't always need to use openpose if you're trying to bring over a pose. Canny and depth can sometimes work just as well, if not better. And just to test how well the performance of this works, let's go back to the Prom Crafters database and see if we can find something else to use as a baseline. Something with a slightly different style. Let's go for this. This was quite eye-catching. Let's go ahead and grab that. Head back over to Comfy UI and let's drop it down and have a quick look at the prompt. So a glamorous vintage hairstyle inspired by the 1920s. Yeah, we'll talk about the hair here. Full body shot. The background is like, yeah, this should be perfectly fine and give us a result, especially since we've got full body shot in there. And if it doesn't work, this will be a fantastic opportunity for us to fine tune the control net to see how we can get to a result closer to what we want. Okay, and there we go. We've got that whole vintage 1920 style with the red hair. Not too different from what we saw over here in the image style, right? The curly hair is not quite there, but I think that's offset by the fact that we're picking up this kind of hairstyle in the Canny. So that's how the Canny performs. And of course, once again, we've got the preprocessor here where you can adjust how much detail is in the Canny based on this. But what about the depth? Let's try out depth. So we're going to go ahead now and turn this one off, set group nodes to never, and we're going to go ahead and grab the depth. And this will also be in a group by the time I release it. And let's go ahead and queue up the same one, just so that we can see the difference in the image quality. And there you have it. Once again, the post is applied. And one of the things I do find with the depth map is because of the way that the control net works, where even your base image has depth to it, or your base subject has depth to it, the image that's generated just kind of feels like it stands out a lot more than when using other formats. Now, I will say this one didn't follow the prompt too well, so let's give it one more try. Okay, here we go. That definitely matches the style a lot closer to what we had in the prompt. And once again, you can really see that there's a massive level of detail in the shadows and contouring happening. So what do you guys think? Do you find that these control nets are better than anything that's come out before? What are you using control nets for? Please leave a comment down below, or even better, come by our Discord and let us know. I love seeing the work that you guys create, and we're always happy to see more people share your work. Finally, if you want access to the premium versions of the workflows, please check out my Patreons. As I said before, I will have a more full version of the workflow available there, along with a bunch of free poses you can use, and a version of the workflow where you can load in your own LoRa, so you can apply these control nets to your own characters. The free version will be available on my website. Finally, if you liked what you saw at Prom Crafters, don't forget to check them out. The database is so incredibly useful. I use it all the time, and it saves my day on a continuous basis. Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.